Initially, actually, it was the Barokore, the church group, which started telling us that drinking unboiled milk is of kafiri, because in the milk there were some organisms which we could not see with our eyes, but which could cause diseases. Diseases like worms, like, doctor, you come and tell us the diseases which can come from drinking milk without boiling it.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We have TB as number one. We have worms, as you said, depending, the flukes and other worms. We also have brucella. We have generally all other diseases, bacterial infections that may come through the unboiled, like milking, especially mastitis, especially when the cow has those infections in the teats. It can
mastitis can attack a person.
No, I mean there are bacteria that cause mastitis, can also equally cause infection in the upper respiratory tract.
Of a human being?
Yes, sir. Also, when you see the hygiene, it may also contaminate the milk with E. coli and cause abdominal infections.
So you can hear all those are problems from what you think is a good food from milk. You get TB, you get worms, you get brucellosis. They are now talking of mastitis of mare, Banyangore call it of mare, can also affect human beings in a certain way, and all of that. So that's why we say, if you want to be prosperous, number one, love Uganda. Number two, love Africa. But number three, you must change. You must become a modern person based on science, covering all those areas. If it is food, this is what you do. If it is shelter, this is what you do. If it is transport, this is what you do. If it is health, this is what you do. So you cannot be, because even if we unite Uganda, even if we unite Africa, but you don't change, the society does not change, then they will not take advantage of the other two. You must become modern people. You must become modern people. Go from the way based on no science to a way of life based on science. And then finally, democracy. Democracy is simple, everybody talks about it. These are the four principles. So therefore, many years ago when we had just come from the bush, I saw the dangers which were coming because people were getting lost, getting corrupt. Because they're like getting corrupt, is because people don't know where wealth comes from. They think we can get wealth by selling fuel of the army, by selling ration, by not being loyal to the logistics of the army, stealing money, without knowing that in order to be prosperous, you need a strong army to guard peace. And once you guard peace, then you work in the manner we have described, because we know the factors that go into work and what will bring prosperity, like we have just said. Of course, there are other details of economics, how to do the calculation of wealth creation and so on. That's another topic. But it needs the roof of these 4 principles. So ideology helps you to know what to do, to be relaxed, not to make shortcuts, because people who make shortcuts are people who don't know the story of transformation. There were, for instance, societies, like the Western societies, which depended on slavery. But slavery was not necessary. They could have developed without exploiting slaves. Those shortcuts, like for instance, when Gutenberg invented the printing press in Germany, there were no slaves, 1400 something. And when you see people fighting wars like these ones in Ukraine, just ideological bankruptcy. What are you fighting for? You can be prosperous without cheating anybody. Like the Chinese. Chinese have come up. They are now the second richest country in the world. They are about to overtake the United States, but they have not colonized anybody. They have just developed by themselves and cooperating in business with others on equal basis. So ideology is very crucial. And that's why I'm glad that you spend time and you go for these courses. Now, I have had your memorandum of Oliver Tambo, how you need dormitories, and it's not very expensive. You can do it in phases of even 1 billion per year. That's good. I will take it up.
Every marriage has 100% chances of succeeding. You know why? Because God created marriage, and God never creates failure, and God never designs anything to fail. Every marriage has 100% chances of succeeding. Is your marriage struggling and you're wondering whether it will ever succeed, whether you will ever make it, whether it's even worth holding on to? You got to tune into Unlocking Marital Bliss.
Up next on UBC, brought to you by
Keep the lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Hello and good evening once again. Thank you for joining us for the 10 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. With me, Wadulo, Mark Arnold, Mugatho Mohammed on sign language. We now take you into the news in detail. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has met a delegation of bishops from Greater Ankole at State House in Entebbe. They were led by the led by the Ankole Diocese the Right Reverend Dr. Sheldon Mwesigwa. The bishops were introduced to the president by Professor Ephraim Kamuntu, who is the chairman of the organizing committee of this year's celebrations. Bishop Mwesigwa told the president that this year's Martyrs' Day celebration is themed under the East African revival. This is what transpired.
Kiraji kigambo kya business abako bakabinamo bakara kugira ngo umuntu yabagenyi nturabamo ibiro bitu by'umwe bakaba kayamba namwe mutokora ka akakaleta munonga kokatu n'uftamu bugwire bagira ibinsi n'umushenyi iby'umuhendo by'umwe nk'uko wakabera kasigiremo ushanga nibetegereza clean living kwa kigambo cya money making nikibateganisha ushutarmona kwa mfuto izuru myaka yankaga no ubona kuri abantu batobusigira manwa ubuti ntunga mukakareba 1951 umuntu akaleta kashi yakata ngwarimo manwe abantu bito bamuyogo hariya batugeze n'umuntu katete bene katete washara n'abandi babya otherwise area mchalo kitu ibiyaro binabintu mukata kurrayo onimando zena akatani batino buganda very tigumanya ikiwa kuna so kaje marebe ibirobena nous tugire ikapuje ko kuyatwariye mwalgo kuryana
enteekateeka nizigenda gye twesera omugambi mukuru Bishop Mwaluda aruturuga Kenya owa East African Revival tukagira ngu kutwashitamire nkabanyankore kandi we president y'omunyankore no manyankore yitu twayibuuza ni kintu ki eky'omutaano ekitubasa kutwara Kampala na Mugongo katwara Uganda yona nensi yona nangwe ketegereza ekamanya mukama yatoreka ngu East African Revival enjiri kwijo muri nkore nebyeresereho kandi no kukira revival kuyizire twagira ngu kikaba kiri ikintu kirungi munonga ngwenu theme yitu ni okutonzya shira ya kashatu shorongo gwa 21 kuhika gwa 24 konka samare yago negira ngu amasiko bwanyuma yokushoberwa bwanyuma hope after affliction hari amasiko nabwe nihangari yitu tuyina amasiko bwanyuma yebi byone bitwara birimo kandi twashanga ngu omuri nkoreji ntugambira abantu tungira omukichago kuza radio stations nyingi nangwa zitwazigireho UBC, NBS, NTV
twire sako zitwize amarebezaga gaine sako zile structure zile systems zile control systems and so on haza abantu bayamwe pihaba bagenda yamba bakora kibagarro tugoba no buryo burungi bwo kugira ngo sako zizi your excellence kuzako hebwa mani okatutera mu mukono haza abantu bakagumana bagirana owe hamwe byanagera hati kuko wanje abamwe n'abatungi bente ubwo nagira iki yakora abamwe n'abamajyani abandi n'abumuceri abandi n'abumwani abamwe n'intoki konko umuntu akihamu hati kikamugasara kagumana leta sakozezi bekintu cyango your excellence twatugira ngo kwakubaho buriyo ukatubangira tukatamu amara ukatutera mu umukono gwa nyine kakayanga sakozezi zanzije kugira ikizakora
yakusiye mu byatwiriye ndamukorera hagati ya Uganda ukorese yahanga kagisara ukamwe mugashimononga ukamesi yona ukakwizifitsa abumweza wogu ubutiri mu nsumba kandi ushaka umushego wa mukama ngire kumurenga muri zamani kugoheza celebration za Uganda Matters na mugongo mukamwe twase byona byende kurungi kira munonga njiri ya Burundi. Wadulo His Excellence Lord Dr. Museveni na mama kandi asituke yona n'abandi bona kuhiriza umunyageri abo Burundi byetu mpayage kati n'ibintu kandi.
Yes, preparations for Martyrs' Day come 3rd of June are underway. In other news, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Robinah Nabbanja, is concerned that investors are still grappling with high costs of electricity. Nabbanja says that this discourages other potential investors from investing in the country, which she wants relevant agencies to deal with expeditiously. She sounded this during her visit to Zonkai Electronics in Kachiri, Wakiso district, where she discouraged factory workers from ever engaging in sit-down strikes.
Zonkai Electronics Limited in Kakiri Wakiso district was colorful as Uganda's Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja visited the multi-million-dollar factory. Taken to a guided tour of the facility, Nabbanja commended the ongoing activities.
Industrialization is key when it comes to NRM. In our third development plan, the NRM manifesto of 2021, we promised Ugandans that we are going to get industrialized, to add value to our products so that we create employment for our people.
Both the pipe and wood processing facilities are employing about 700 people, including youth from Uganda. Nabbanja is equally impressed.
So I also want to thank you for employing Ugandans. I've seen Ugandans working here. And thank you for using our raw materials.
However, not all is well. Administrators decry increasing prices of electricity, to which the Prime Minister has given an assurance.
The machines are very heavy, they are very high. Here, just one plant, we pay over 150 million a month. That's a lot of money. And then you'll expect them to run, to make profits and invest more. I feel that would not lure more investors.
Those are few challenges that still here, like electricity, road shading, and many others. I will not even take them to the president because those are within my means. I'm the leader of government. I will just inform the president. I will just inform the president that there was this problem, but we have done it.
Having such investment is an opportunity which most leaders agree is a promoter of job creation.
We don't only get the end products, the materials that come from these factories, but also employment, which is a big challenge to our country.
Nabbanja concluded her tour of the Chinese-founded establishment with a special moment granted to employees. They shared their challenges as she discouraged them from engaging in sit-down strikes.
15 per day somehow, at least. That is the biggest. Others, at least they are trying.
You see the medical professionals are killing people right now. And yet we enhance their salaries. We enhance their salaries. The budget of Uganda currently has got their salary enhancement. But they are going on strike. Never go on strike. Because if you go on strike, then you injure the company.
For now, National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, is required to avail an environmental impact assessment to enable smooth operations of the establishment. Henry Okrut, UBC.
In other news, the Commander UPDF Land Forces Muhoozi Kainerugaba is set to officiate the Sekafa Women's Championship Football Tournament hosted by Uganda at Fufa Technical Center in Njeru, in Jinja, starting tomorrow, that is Sunday. The tournament that will see 8 African countries participate include Uganda, which is the host, Burundi, Djibouti, Ethiopia, South Africa, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Zanzibar. One of the organizing chairpersons in the Uganda tournament, Florence Nachiwala Chiyinji, says that the country is set to host the tournament and is happy to associate with one of the influential people in the country, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, to be the chief guest.
Now, we have had already people coming in through Entebbe Airport and en route to Jinja. So I encourage the people of Busoga to have the warmth to welcome them as they enjoy the Pearl of Africa and, more importantly, the source of the Nile. So tomorrow come 9 o'clock, and I think even earlier, we shall see the people of this great land who have been performing in sports at different levels. We have 3 teams in the Premier League. We have 3 teams from Busoga again in the big league. We have over 20 teams again from this greater region in 3rd division, and we have over 1,000 teams in 4th division only in this greater region. So we have reason to celebrate and to choose Busoga to always host some of these very important tournaments. So this is a sign of giving back to them, and I thank Team MK, particularly the chairman Team MK, the honorable members, the MK himself, General Fande Muhoozi Kainerugaba, for coming up with this give back initiative.
The relation as to why team chairman should be involved in the Sekafa Tournament League is very, very, very clear. When this tournament came here, the Sekafa or FUFA organizers had to look for MK, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, to be the guest of honor on the launch. So when we had that one, we said, we can do that for you. And what have we been doing? We have been mobilizing, trying to ensure that whatever is required on ground should be put. And that's why we are here. We have been mobilizing, organizing, to ensure that each and every person should be brought on board and enjoy what is going to happen here. So as team chairman, we have done to our best to mobilize all people from different corners. The Busoga people, those from Mbarara, those from Kampala, those from Masaka, Bunyoro, Toro are all going to be here. All we need here is one, security. And security starts with us. Those ones who have managed to come, you must be one of the people who should ensure that the security should be a priority before you. We want each and every person to enjoy. Because food is here, water is here, entertainment, everything is here. Because where MK is, we expect joy.
The State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Muriku Kaduchu, has cautioned Mbarara University of Science and Technology graduates against contracting unnecessary behavioral diseases that will cripple their lives. Minister Kaduchu, who was speaking at the 28th graduation ceremony of over 1,300 graduates, said that it will be unfortunate for these to die of excitement before enjoying the fruits of their education struggles.
Mbarara University of Science and Technology has graduated 1,319 students, 29 of whom with PhD degrees. The State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Muriku Kaduchu, officiated the graduation at the 23rd biggest public university in Uganda and cautioned graduates against contracting unnecessary behavior diseases like HIV or AIDS that will cripple their lives for life.
Behavioral diseases are real. We do not want today to be witness of your celebration, but tomorrow to be called that we are burying our own because of lifestyle behavior, because of alcohol consumption, which is now for some people order of the day, because of drug abuse, because of living reckless behavior. We are cautioning you. Do not tell us that we do not tell you.
Minister Kaduchu also lectured them about life, where she warned them against choking over excitement.
Life is not a race, a journey that requires you to take a step one at a time. You are going out, don't get overexcited. If you think it is a race and you start running, you forget not only where you are going, but even where you have come from Mass, you will have forgotten.
This has been the 28th graduation ceremony from Barra University of Science and Technology. She applauded the university for upholding the core values for which it was built.
I want to pledge our support. We will continue to ensure Barara University upholds its key values and integrity as the University of Science and Technology.
Kaduchu further assured scientists that government has since earmarked resources to start paying them before it embarks on paying artists. The payment of these will commence this coming financial year.
The government of Uganda has committed to start paying the scientists come financial year 2020 to 2023, and later on we get also the arts on board. So I want to commit that the government has provided resources for wages, so salary increment for our staff.
The University Vice-Chancellor, Professor Celestino Oboa, raised concerns facing the institution, which among include funding. But in response, Minister Kadushu said, now government, through the COVID-19 struggles, it will avail them funds as soon as possible.
We all know the challenges that came with COVID. And now that we are getting to recovery process, I want to believe that the good Lord that saw us through the period of COVID will indeed see us to recover and get these most needed resources.
Similarly, the State Minister for Primary Health Care, Moriku Kaduchu, has asked striking nurses to have a roundtable dialogue with the government in order to save the lives of Ugandans. The minister was speaking at a graduation ceremony at Mbale College of Health Sciences, where 127 medical students have been awarded certificates and diplomas in different health disciplines. According to the minister, the nurses' demands can be addressed in a mutual understanding between government and the nurses' leadership.
The Minister of State for Primary Health Care, Dr. Moriku Kaduchu, has asked nurses' leadership to share their demands with the government so that their demands are met. Dr. Joyce Moriku Kaduchu commended the services offered by the nurses in the country, but expressed that their demands can easily be addressed by the government without the strike.
We've heard that the nurses are on strike. All the nurses, come to think about this. I want to call upon the nurses, those who have gone on strike, think twice. Think of the action you're doing for the people of Uganda. That is not the end of it. Let's sit down and have a round-table dialogue to move forward.
Mood was high among the graduates who attained their certificates and diplomas in different disciplines, with each pledging to offer quality services to their communities.
We are really happy. We really don't even have the words to say. We are going to work. We are going to come and save lives. We are there to actually holistic management all our clients.
I thank God for this, because when we are going out, we are going to solve each and every problem of each and every patient.
The minister cautioned them to appreciate the competence that has been vested on them by their trainers and live responsible lives if they are to serve their communities diligently.
Go out with a positive attitude and make sure you make a difference in your profession. Live a responsible life. Take personal responsibility of your health. Be healthy in order to treat other people. A sick person cannot look after a patient.
The Minister of Health recently came up with a plan to extend COVID-19 vaccination to all children below 18 years of age. The minister called for support by parents and guardians towards the program if it is to realize success.
Children below 18 are pretty under our care. Most of them are students, some of them are at home. Some of them are in TVET, others are in secondary school, others are in primary. But we want a scenario where we need a mutual agreement between the parents, Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Health. And this being a process where you need a consent, we also need the collaboration of a parent. We need the contribution of the parent to assent in this process, not to coerce in the process, not to do it by force, but we need an harmonious discussion.
Very busy season for the minister. Now, the State Minister for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, David Bahati, has asked Muslim leaders in Kabale District and Chigezi Sub-region to continue fostering unity among their followers. Bahati was representing the third Deputy Prime Minister, Rukia Nakadama, during a fundraising drive for the construction of Kabale District Kadi's residence.
This Saturday afternoon downpour did not in any way deter hundreds of enthusiasts from attending a fundraising event in Kabale district for the district Kadhi's residence. The event held at Kirijime Mosque Playgrounds was graced by people from all walks of life.
The district currently rents a house around, but we wish that we bring him closer to the headquarters. And these are our headquarters, so our intention is to put the main house. We have a guest wing and of course the perimeter fence.
And from what I see, we have started very well, and we are continuing to really galvanize our efforts to make sure that this house is put up.
In attendance was the State Minister for Youth, Sarah Mateke, members of Parliament, area and religious leaders, plus the general public.
They have been constructing the district's residence, which has been on for so long, and I thought it right to give my contribution as a member of Parliament who represent them, and in appreciation of what they did to me, especially voting for me and the President as large.
State Minister for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, David Bahati, represented the third Deputy Premier, Rukia Nakadama, as the chief guest.
Prize for resources to build a house for the district card, who has been not having an own house to stay in, and we are grateful that the fundraising is moving on well. The third Deputy Prime Minister was supposed to be here, but because of different commitments, he's not here. And you can see that this function also is a function that has brought all of us together to demonstrate that unity is strength, to demonstrate what we believe in as NRM party.
Though leaders have embarked on the construction of the house of the district CAF, there are other concerns being addressed to government.
We have one private primary school, one government-aided, and one government-aided secondary school in the municipality here. So we have only 5 schools in the whole Muslim district. And remember, Kabale Muslim district touches the Kabale district, Rwanda, and Ruchiga. Yes, we have also committed that they have a health center here. The government is going to take over the health center because it is serving a big community. We sit at 7.2 million, 7.2 acres, and they have a secondary school, a primary school, and health center. So this health center is going to be worked on. The lab in the secondary school is also going to be brought by government.
Over 500 million shillings is needed for this project, whose completion is expected in the next 2 years. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
In other news, over 800 school-going children aged between 8 to 15 have paid homage to the Anglican Martyrs Shrine in Namugongo to commemorate the martyrdom of the youngest martyr, Kizito, and other martyrs who were brutally killed for their faith by the fallen Buganda king Basamula Ekeremwanga II. The children were urged to love God, and these are the details.
The organizing committee for Martyrs Day celebrations at the Anglican Shrine Namugongo recently unveiled the program to fall ahead of 3rd June prayers. Saturday morning, the program started with the children aged 8 to 15 visiting the shrine. The young and innocent-looking souls were pleased with the teachings about the martyrs and their faith. The day's key speaker, also the Bishop of Greater Ankole Diocese, Right Reverend Sheldon Mwesigwa, urged the children to love their faith and religion and denounce all acts of evil.
John 10:10 says, "A thief comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Get saved, you live longer. But you tell me, there is no witch doctor that I know and have ever had who can live beyond the age of 80.
The provincial coordinator for youth and children's programs in the Church of Uganda, Reverend Richard Rukundo, elaborates about the children's program and why they were separated from other pilgrims.
Children's Day is very important in the church. Children were part of the martyrs. As we noticed, there was a child, and many of the martyrs were not old people, not 80 years old, not 90 years old. They were young people who accepted to die because of the faith. So as a church, we need to keep helping these children to appreciate that faith in their lives should grow like that. We're watching around is because the children, the martyrs who died, were pulled on their back. Encourage the children who are slightly older so they can also don't get lost. The younger children can get lost, can be disturbing. But
Worker without play made Jack a dull boy. Wise saying was justified as children engaged in music and dancing and methodically tossed bouncing castles. School children wished to identify with Kizito, who was the youngest martyr.
I've learned to trust in God, to be a child of God. I have learned how to be brave.
The organizing team recently announced that the pilgrims will not access the holy water point due to the ongoing construction works at the shrine. However, Sylvia Faith Ngolola, a teacher at St. Peter's Nantabulirwa Primary School, says this won't affect her visiting the shrine for the intercession of the martyrs.
It will be a miss, but not that much, because the fact is, when these people moved and they reached this place, they had their faith. As a teacher and the children that have come here have also come with my faith, that when I reach this place, I also grew up with this faith.
Hanington Nankunda, the chief whip from Ankole Diocese, the official leading team for the 3rd June prayers, enlightens about the relevance of children visiting the martyrs' shrine.
To build the younger generation. The Uganda today, the church today, to get the morals, you have noticed that there is a decay in the moral fiber. But now we have an intentional move to begin with these young children, to tame them in the direction we want them to grow.
The program will continue with the youths visiting the shrine for fellowship this Sunday, as men and women on Monday, as there will be an overnight prayer on 2nd June. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC News.
The Prime Minister Robina Nabanja has advised medical workers to exercise maximum constraint and show mercy to the patients who need their attention. She disclosed this in a speech delivered for her at the 7th graduation of Jubilee Hospital Medical Training Institute by Kampala Minister Minsa Kabanda.
Prime Minister Robina Nabanja has urged nurses not to focus on striking for salary increment, but rather mind about serving the nation. This was at Jubilee Hospital Medical Training Institute graduation ceremony that attracted over 300 graduates that were awarded certificates and diplomas in nurses disciplines.
We go into strikes. We are not supposed to. A nurse should not strike. A medical worker should not strike. Because your motto says what? Yes, I want to emphasize on this. Salaries. Salaries, you said you love and serve. So if you have love and serve, yes. If you love and serve, then you should respect your profession.
She applauded private institutions for working together with the NRM government to promote education.
She says the government supports and commends the efforts made by the private, non-profit institutions like this one. In this regard, the Office of the Prime Minister pledges continued support and cooperation towards this noble cause.
Principal Chibuli Muslim Health Training and Laboratory Training Institute Fadi Mwanda advised the government for financial support to the institute.
Notably, implementation and advocacy for continued staff development and contemporary enhancement of instructional technologies for enhanced healthcare training.
Some of the management of the institution, they explained on how they maneuvered amidst COVID-19.
Guardians, our strongest and deepest gratitude for supporting your daughters and sons. May you live to taste the fruits of your sweat.
The grandfather of Islam, Prince Kasim Nachibinge, Turkey ambassador to Uganda, and the other dignitaries from different government institutions witnessed the graduation.
In another turn of events, Padera District local government has failed to attract candidates to fill the positions that have remained vacant for more than 20 years. The district authorities have now resorted to headhunt for the substantive officers to fill the positions and also engaging the Ministry of Local Government on the matter since it is affecting service delivery. These are the details.
The Office of the Prime Minister has held an open interaction between public and public servants, also known as Baraza, in Ogom Sub-County, Padere District. Residents tasked the district leadership to explain the issue of substantial officers occupying the key positions.
Why is it that there is acting position like DHO, CFO, DEO, water officer, yet Padere District started operational way back in 2000.
The authorities confirmed the matter, claiming that they have attempted to advertise the positions a number of times but failed to attract the rightful candidates.
We have advertised for over 3 times, and these positions are like for the DHO, DEO, the CFO, the Principal Human Resource Officer. We advertised last year in September, but we did not attract any persons who have the requisite qualifications.
Some educationists disagreed with the top leadership, claiming that a number of candidates are qualified but don't meet the stringent requirements.
The problem that we are having here is not that the staff do not have the qualification, but they don't have the job requirements. The job requirements, in this case, are meaning that in our structure, you must have served at U2. But this structure is not there at the district. It is here at the municipal. That's why now, but the district had advertised 4 times and they cannot recruit a substantive district education officer. Yet we have 3 personnel, human resource, who are having the qualification, who are having master's degrees, who are having postgraduate studies and other requirements. But the problem is they have not served at U2.
The district is now consulting the Ministry of Local Government on the matter since it has affected service delivery.
We have now resorted to head hunting, and we have to also planning to write to the Ministry of Local Government to see how they can help us because they are affecting service delivery.
This year's annual assessment performance, Padere District performed poorly as it was ranked 48th. And it is believed that it could have been caused by vacant key positions.
And you have seen it evident here that we actually need to pull our socks in the performance. Then the allocation is affected, and at the end of the day, Padere does not receive money, is not allocated enough funding.
This year's annual assessment performance report is to be disseminated on 31st of May in Kampala, where a number of district local leaders are expected to attend. Joseph Oko, UBC News, in Pader district.
The State Minister for Local Government, Victoria Rusoke, and the Minister of Northern Uganda, Grace Freedom Kuyicwin, have commissioned projects worth 1.2 billion Ugandan shillings under the education sector in Koboko district. The ministers were accompanied by the delegation from European Union and officials from the Office of the Prime Minister.
Projects commissioned include an ICT center at Nyangiria Secondary School, 5 classroom blocks at Nyariro Secondary School, 6 classroom blocks in Teremunga, among others.
So our government is aware of the problems and synchronizing and helping to put in place service deliveries each day, each year, because it assesses the situation. It doesn't just jump to say anything, but studies, researches, and then puts in place. That's why there is a policy of every sub-county getting a secondary school, not only stopping at establishing and constructing buildings, but also employing the teachers there, putting up laboratories. Now with the development of scientific rolling out, we are now going even computer studies.
This follows a 15 billion shillings European Union Trust Fund project implemented by an Italian organization based in Koboko.
Make sure you interest the students in knowing the value of computer services, where you can stand and do work at your desk, where in a minute you can know what is happening in America, where in a minute you can Google and know the meaning of certain concepts. So we are on the way, and here we are developing slowly. It hasn't stopped at establishing secondary schools, but thought of also skilling and empowering the youth into vocational. No longer to begin lamenting job seeking, but to be part of job makers, easy to employ.
State Minister for Local Government thanked government for setting up an enabling environment for students to study and also acquire demand-driven skills.
Educate the people with the political leaders to have the mindset and know that vocational education is equally good instead of flat degrees.
The Minister of Northern Uganda, Grace Freedom Kuyicwin, warned students against early relationships, but rather focus on education.
If we invest in 4 sectors, 1 is commercial agriculture, 2 is industry. I'd be happy to launch this ICT block today. Don't take it for granted, use it.
The Member of Parliament, Koboko Municipality, Dr. Charles Ayume, thanked the European Union for the asset and urged the beneficiaries to utilize it well.
We are in Koboko right now. The ICT backbone has reached Oraba. Oraba is the topmost point of West Nile at the border with South Sudan. So it's just a matter of connecting any youth right now to be really employable. You have to have ICT skills. You have to interface with the computer. You have to have computer skills.
The Mayor, Koboko Municipality, Sanya Kak Wilson, challenged school administrators of the beneficiary school to reflect the good structure with performance. Projects are part of the comprehensive refugee response framework inclusive of urban development and mobility action in Koboko Municipality. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
One of Uganda's oldest education institutions, Namiryango College, has celebrated 120 years of service. The activities of the day were started by a church service led by the Lugazi Diocese Vicar General Monsignor Richard Kayondo.
The premiered Dance Fest UG movie was acted by the young people from Rubaga Division. This movie intends to bring together talented and privileged young people into productivity.
So why we acted this movie as a foundation is for just sustainability. Because if we manage to send these children to school, how are we going to sustain them there? Some are still low as primary 1, primary 2, 5, P6.
The State Minister for ICT Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao commended Dance Fest Foundation during the grand premiering of this movie for identifying talented young people and promised to address the patent rights of performing arts.
Showing their talents. We have so many youth who are redundant doing nothing, but when you make such an event, it promotes the youth to show their talents. We have so many youth who have got very good talents, but they are not promoted.
Minister Sebugwao appealed to artists and movie makers to utilize talents in restoring morality. She pledged 3 million Ugandan shillings towards supporting the organization work and cashed 1 million shillings.
Talents, music, dance and drama is always a very good thing. It gives discipline to young people. It brings young people together. They love each other and they help each other.
The foundation is intending to generate funds from these art pieces to support the education of these willing young actors.
With these young talents, I saw that basically most of these young talents were adopting quickly to the screen. So there is a lot of fresh talent. So we would wish that all these people could really be supported. The Christian community could come together and they have their own entertainment industry.
Dance Fest Foundation originated from Glory of Christ Church, Kawala, in Lubaga Division, with the aim of mobilizing unprivileged young people for a common cause. Abdul Nasser Lubwama, UBC.
We do apologize. That was a story where the State Minister for Information, Communications, Technology and National Guidance, Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao, was launching a Dance Fest movie. In another development, one of Uganda's oldest education institutions, Namilyango College, has celebrated 120 years of service. The activities of the day were started by a church service led by the Lugazi Diocese Vicar Richard Kayondo.
Some achievements in this world are a preserve for the patient and resilient. Namilyango College, that has celebrated 120 years of service, is one such in Uganda's education system. The celebrations on the theme of fostering a God's family and excellence started with a church service led by Lugazi Diocese Vicar General, Monsignor Richard Kayondo. He attributed this milestone to several factors that need maintaining for better.
And I'm happy with this year's theme, focused on family and excellence. Becoming a great family and becoming a giant in education, academics, and in everything. Those two virtues are extremely important wherever we are. Being a family and being excellent in whatever we do and say.
The school head teacher mourned all attached to the school that lost the COVID-19 battle and emphasized relevance of the new curriculum that must steer further success in academics.
The college has picked itself up very well and we are moving on with our work. The students have settled in well and the teachers are also moving on well for the implementation of the lower secondary competence-based curriculum, as we also move on to phase out the old curriculum for the O-level. Only 2 classes are left to have it phased out, that is Senior 3 and Senior 4. We therefore encourage them, by the time they are phased out, to excel like everybody has been able to excel at college.
Namilyango College hasn't only registered academic but also produced excellence in many other areas, notably sport. In academics and politics, names like Norbert Mao, Bat Katurebe, Dr. Livingston Sewanyana, Professor Semakula Kiwanuka and Matthias Impuga are household. In sport, especially administration, Dr. Lawrence Mulindu and Engineer Moses Magogo need no introduction. The college is also proud of sports personalities that rocked, including Mike Motebi, Livingston Lujia, and the late Robert Seguya. John, Burns Centum reporting.
Pastor Jotham and Lovinka Mutebi have celebrated their wedding jubilee in glamour and style at Caring Heart Victory Community Church in Kagula Hill, Wakiso District. The couple used the occasion to launch the Jotham Mutebi Elders Care Foundation, which aims at improving welfare of the church leaders during life and after death.
Glamour and pomp have filled the Caring Heart Victory Community Church at Kagula Hill in Wakiso District as Pastor Jotham and Lovinka Mutebi of Makere Full Gospel Church celebrated their wedding Golden Jubilee. The occasion, which due to COVID-19 was delayed and now celebrated as the couple revel in 52 years of marriage, was spiced by many anecdotes, notably musical interludes and speeches by prominent born-again faith leaders.
Kati nsaba tukkirize nti tukula ddamu ngambire ku muno nti tukula tawulidde kaakati obanga tukula tukole ebyekikulu kati ndeeta bomu Musumba Mutebi takuze bukuzi mu bufumbo takuze bukuzi mu myaka naye akuze ne mu buweereza.
The couple that wedded in 1970 relived their journey, which to both, minus God's intervention to guide and help them deliberate on several issues, would maybe have fallen apart.
Tata wange tiyalina bintu bingi ebyokutulekera ate ng'abaana yazaala bangiko. Naye ekigambo kimu kyenzijukira kyentwala nti lyelyali kyekyo kye yannaamira. Yaŋŋamba nti owasanga omukazi atya Katonda. Sipiidi ye bwe yantuukako nagisaamu ekitiibwa saabuma mugume namugamba ssebo weebale naye lindako tulabe wakiri wayitewo omwezi tegwalwa naye we gwagwerako nga nfunye ekyokuddamu nemugaa kale tulize mu maaso.
The occasion heralded a special launch of the Jotham Mutebi Elderly Care Foundation, which aims at improving livelihoods of born-again faith leaders during and after life. The host pastor, Paul Musisi, lauded the couple for their longevity in ministry and love and advised the youth to seek counsel and emulate the couple for a strong family that propels a good nation. John Burns Centum reporting.
Very beautiful right there. Now, government and development partners have been urged to scale up skilling of the women, girls and boys in making reusable pads to reduce the accessibility gaps of accessing sanitary towels. This has been disclosed in a press statement on the World Menstrual Hygiene Day by young girls in Kampala.
Menstruation is still regarded as a taboo in many communities, though it is a natural phenomenon which occurs to every girl after puberty, which on some occasions is not addressed as normal. Many girls do not have access to sanitary pads, clean toilets, or even safe-used cloth disposal. Girl child advocates say those with limited knowledge and skills in the management of menstrual pain, coupled with heavy and repeated menstrual flow, which is socially and economically costly, are yet to be comforted.
I call upon girls and young women from the rural communities and the ghettos to please adopt to using reusable pads, because they are very easy to maintain and they are reusable, they protect the environment, and they are going to help you throughout no matter the situation you're going through.
Advocates say boys are excluded from menstrual discussions, especially in school settings, which explain the negative mentality towards menstruation.
Government and development partners should prioritize adequate provision of menstrual hygiene management services to girls and young women in urban slums and ghetto areas because of great challenges faced by girls in the slums.
Some girls have resorted to unsafe materials during menstruation due to limited incomes to purchase decent and safer pads.
The development partners need to scale up skilling of the women, girls, boys and men in making reusable pads.
Provision of water, wash and changing rooms, hand washing facilities among others has been highlighted as key in schools.
Poor menstruation hygiene management is no doubt the major hindrance to girls and young women achieving their dreams, aspirations, especially the girls and young women in urban slums and ghetto communities.
Sectors and stakeholders have been asked to develop an all-inclusive approach to menstrual health materials, and breaking the cultural barriers has been highlighted. Parents have been asked to play their cardinal role of offering menstrual health materials, information, and preparing the girls for puberty. However, menstrual waste disposal is a key challenge, hence the need for provision of disposal facilities. So that Kaye, UBC News.
Jennifer, Jukira, Rewagamba, I don't have waka. You passed the eyes through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Jangola be waka, look at you waka, see my waka.
Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Affordable packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV, this is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees.
Select to pay using Bridge Schools, School Pay or Beg Pay.
Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless.
Leaders who care create a good learning environment.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
The Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is back on Sunday, 3rd July 2022 at Lubiri Mengo. This year, the run will be physical and will be flagged off by Sabasaja Kabaka at 7 a.m. Come out in large numbers once again to Lubiri Mengo. Run for a cause to fight and end HIV by 2030. Buy your ticket today at 15,000 Uganda shillings from Airtel shops at Tobani Center, New Taxi Park, ShopRite Building, Benchuanka Street, Majestic Brands Office at Bulange Mengo. You can also buy your ticket using Airtel Money. Dial *185*5#. Select Payments, select Kabaka Run, and follow the prompts to complete the payment. Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is brought to you by UNAID, CBS, BBS, and Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. We now take you to the world of business. Now, bamboo has the potential to contribute to agro-industrialization's if farmers are encouraged to embrace and domesticate it, particularly in hilly areas. Government has procured bamboo worth 60 million shillings for planting in Kasese district along river banks to trap and absorb water runoffs. Ivan Kawa has a report.
Bamboos previously grew wild on the slopes of Mountain Rwenzori and other hilly areas of Kasese and other areas in western Uganda, but now they are being domesticated to assist trap water runoffs. Bamboos are now being planted along riverbanks for environmental conservation, as they can easily reduce on the momentum of water runoffs.
That's why we have fenced off the riverbank, so that at least when the water comes, it finds bamboo. It also finds the bamboo we have planted. It also finds different tree species that have grown up, has come up naturally.
Kasese local government has procured bamboo seedlings worth 60 million shillings to be planted along the rivers to control water runoffs, especially when rivers burst their banks.
And one of the challenges that locals face is flooding.
So that at a certain time when the rivers banks burst by the floods, then they find when the river banks are stabilized. And we urge government to support this project.
Worldwide Fund for Nature Conservation has also distributed farm tools to 2,085 homesteads that live along riverbanks to maintain the contour trenches as they carry out their agricultural practices.
If you have a contour trench in your farm and you have coffee there, be sure your coffee will feed, because the trenches keep water and feed the plants in the gardens.
Accessing Chiriba Chatumba hot springs in Kasese district, a bamboo makeshift structure is what welcomes visitors.
When Nyamwamba started the floods, government was preaching the gospel, we should plant bamboo. We should plant bamboo, and the natives don't see the value of bamboo. We normally see it as a traditional grass. So when they talked about bamboo, we thought the community to pick the idea of picking the program of the government. We need to show them exactly what is bamboo all about. Bamboo, we had to think we should put at the entry point where everyone can access it, so that people can see the value of bamboo.
Leaders are now interested in the domestication and industrialization of bamboos as a source of revenue.
You can see like this box, small box. If someone didn't tell you, you could think that this has come from ordinary timber. This is from bamboo. This is a calculator. You can see wooden. So from bamboo, you make textiles, floor tiles from bamboo. You can see a lady's bag. This, you can hold your documents here. All that is bamboo. Flask holder, that is bamboo. And many other things.
The Ministry of Water and Environment needs to have an action plan that seeks to promote sustainability and encouragement of planting bamboo.
That means more jobs, new industry, which is good for our country.
Government will also need to have demonstration places for the planting of bamboo.
What does that mean? Government using, for example, forest reserves, we plant bamboo, and government sets up small factories to process those products.
Some residents, however, are engaging in planting bamboo in nursery beds to support both environmental conservation and as well sell it off as a source of income.
These ones has very good roots to protect the soil, not to move so very fast.
Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Kasese District.
One of the National Resistance Movement's government's long-term plan is to construct a road network that covers the entire country. When achieved, this will enable quality national development since road infrastructure enables quick access to markets and other social and economic amenities. Details in the story.
Uganda currently has 129,469 kilometers of road network, 50% of which are community access roads, 26% access roads, 7% urban roads, and 17% national roads, all of which start in the country's capital, Kampala. This is a massive improvement from what the National Resistance Movement government found in 1986. Back then, there were about 7,900 kilometers of roads, with 1,900 kilometers of these tarmacked, but only 114 kilometers in fair condition. The progress under the National Resistance Movement government has been achieved through various private collaborations, like that with China Railway 7th Group Company Limited. This construction firm has registered numerous successes, especially within Kampala, but also in many up-country locations.
China Railway 7th Group has been in Uganda for 12 years. We have completed 6 projects in the Uganda, like Balala Bypass, Footboto Kamangue, Kampala City Road, and so on.
In areas like Kawempe, China Railway 7th Group Company Limited has constructed the Makere Hill Road, Mamule Boise Road, and also turned the Boise Junction, which was once traffic jam prone, into a modern facility with decent traffic flow.
So when it comes to the road network, we have done quite a lot. It's not only China Railway, but even other companies. But for China Railway, had those trunk roads, the main roads. They worked on Mambre Road, that was China Railway, Makerere Hill, that was China Railway, the traffic lights, that was China Railway, and we are proud of that.
And as if that isn't good enough, the firm has realized input of Ugandans and promises to employ residents in high technical expertise positions during their next construction phases.
In Uganda, the people, most of the people, the skill is better than other countries in Africa, so it's easy to, for our product with just some small product with just several Chinese people from the China. Most of the workers, the management is from the local, like this.
The China Railway 7th Group Company Limited, during execution of its duties, uses Ugandan materials and thus boosts Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, Bubu.
Most of the material for the product we buy from the local market because our company will be persisted localized development like this.
Over the years, China Railway 7th Group Company Limited has constructed roads in many countries. But for Uganda, the Mbara Bypass and now the Oiler Road package 5 kilometers from Hoa to Butole Road is a flagship. They expect to build many more, following trust gained by the Uganda government.
Have waka, you bust the eyes through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Jambola be waka, look at you waka, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Show them waka with MTN Momo Nyabo. Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Welcome back. It's now time for sports. After the 2-year break as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, Pool Association of Uganda has resumed its activities with the grand opening pool tournament at Winners Bar in Seta, Mokono. The championship attracted the country's top 128 male players and 32 ladies, including Rashida Mutesi, Rita Nimsima, Sula Matovu, Alfred Gumikiriza and Lukia Naiga. Pool Association of Uganda Competition Secretary Nkata Kalibala explains relevance of this particular event and also talks about the future.
Our plan is we're trying to make a comeback because COVID had made a big blow to the championship and all events in PAU. But now we are good to go and we hope to have the best with our players and they'll be back on form. As we also plan for the World Pool Championship that will happen in Morocco.
Locally, what are you looking at?
Locally, we're looking to tap all talents in different regions because now this is a nationwide championship whereby we have all people across the country that come to fight for this championship and maybe to earn points and maybe to be in better rankings so that they stand a chance to be recognized and also to be called to participate in the national team.
Most pool players look at the national championship. Is there a possibility to return? And how about details about the National League?
The national champion, we hope it to bounce back as we look for 2 possible sponsors that we're yet to conclude on or to finalize and endorse. After endorsing the agreement, that's when we shall announce it officially. But as per now, I can't assure that we have already endorsed, but it will come shortly after we endorsed with our possible sponsors that we wish. However, if they don't come on board, we hope to do it the way we do our other events, and it will be self-sponsored by PAU and maybe the players. For the league will resume on 8th of June, and we hope to have 13 teams in the league. We hope to see the best, and also we shall have the regional leagues whereby we shall have regions like Masaka, we have Ankole, we have Eastern, and we have also Northern. So we hope we shall have also regional leagues come this year.
Well, our time is fast spent, and that's all we had for you this evening. Thank you for being a lovely audience. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold. Mugalo Muhammad on Sign Language. Have yourselves a good night.
Even with my grandson, a doctor at my side, I struggled to get the help I needed. But he saw something that day. He began to work day and night. He wouldn't quit, even when people said no. He wouldn't stop fighting. He knew something had to change, and his vision was bigger than anyone could imagine. He made it possible to receive quality medical services anywhere in Uganda by simply